Hello people out there and welcome back to yet another exciting episode of Seek Your Purpose. This is your host for the show, Mayank Sarah. If you're listening to this podcast for the very first time, I welcome you on board. So hit that subscribe or follow button to never ever miss an episode the time we upload it. Or if you're a regular listener and come back every time that episode goes live, I thank you for being a part of this growing family. Now rate and review the show on the app that you're listening to and help us grow organically to the maximum of such purpose seekers that we have around us. Now let's kickstart the episode. Here we go. Do you love yourself? That's a pretty decent question to begin this podcast, right? Yes, it is. That's what I feel. I was just going through an episode that I created an year ago. The episode centers around the love encounters I have had in the past, or I should say I was blessed to be a part of those encounters which paved way for a newer, bolder, and an improved version of myself. Although I'm mindful and fortunate enough in calling these encounters as blessings, I wonder why people end up in relationships on a patchy note. Why? As they say, every relationship and every bond teaches you one thing or the other. Then why don't we just embrace the learnings out of these, reflect on them, and move on purposefully to being just a happy soul? Why? Why do most of us fail at this? Why? And after a lot of brainstorming and reflecting on the perspective I gained in so many years of my life, I can say the only thing that most of the people miss out is self-love. Yes, self-love. So here's the catch. If you can't love yourself, how can you expect someone else to do it for you? So it's just similar to if you don't believe in your dreams, how can you expect someone else to do it for you? It might be not on purpose, but ask yourself this question: do I love myself? Well, most of us will say yes, of course, that's a basic thing to do. We do love ourselves the most, but the honest, blunt reality is no, we don't. We don't love ourselves, we don't care for ourselves, rather we desire every time for others to take good care of us and love us. So we humans, we operate in a tribal community and we are fond of two things the most: attention and affection. Okay, I'll be asking a few questions or rather scenarios of your daily life. So all you need to do is to think of either a yes or a no. Just be honest with yourself with the first thing that comes to your mind after you listen to these questions. Let's go. When was the last time I went out on a date with myself? When was the last time I pampered myself with any personal care session? When was the last time I went out on shopping with myself? When was the last time I gifted myself something that I have been longing for? When was the last time I went out on a solo trip? When was the last time I complimented myself for the outfit I wore? When was the last time I looked into the mirror, maintained that eye contact and said, "Hey self, I love you"? And when was the last time I cooked myself a palatable meal? The questions I've just asked are surely among many ways to fall in love and care for yourself. But now I'm going to list down 3 important and much relatable ways or hacks by which you can surely improve relation with yourself. Let's check them out. The first one, have a self-love mantra. Don't hide your scars. What you appreciates. And this self-love is nothing but a life-changing habit that we must endorse and embrace. So draft a self-love mantra. It could be anything. Any one-liner, inspiration quote, saying, or a maxim that fuels you up with much required motivation you need every time you feel like seeking it. So Michael Jackson has his biggest fear of missing out, the FOMO. So to keep himself aligned with the demand of the time, he used to say always, "If I don't do it, somebody else will." So a self-love mantra like this will not only keep you inspired and motivated to step onto the pedal, but will also improve your relationship with yourself by pushing beyond boundaries. So it's one of the versions of the EFT, the famous emotional freedom technique. So just try it. Number 2, stop comparing yourself. We humans, we are born unique. The only living organism in the world who can think, view ideas and act accordingly. So respect that uniqueness in yourself and stop comparing yourself to others, because comparison kills uniqueness. Unique is you, and you are the beauty. So don't let your inner beauty die just like that. There should only be one comparison you must have, that is a comparison with your previous self. You are your biggest competitor. Respect that. It's not a race, it's a process, and that too for a lifetime. And practicing meditation can surely uplift you over here. It helps establish a deeper connection with yourself. Or even if you do, be the best comparison you would ever love to compete with. The third and the most talked about is seek your purpose. What you seek is seeking you. So the purpose isn't something that you have to find under a table or behind a curtain or on a lawn. It's not hidden anywhere, but still it's you who have to discover it. It's there in the pattern with which you perform everything. Something that you feel inclined towards, your undying love for something. It could be anything. So I can give you a hack into discovering it. It's just a hack. Rest, you have to work on it. Now sit with yourself with a pen and paper, and all you have is just 3 minutes to write down whatsoever comes to your mind after listening to the question that I'm just gonna ask you. Just 3 minutes. So the question is, which activity you are willing to do if money and time aren't any object and you're not answerable to anyone else? I'll repeat that question for you. Which activity you're willing to do if money and time aren't any object and you aren't answerable to anyone else? Just answer it. So go find yourself, do what you love and love what you do. Align yourself with a higher purpose and see the magic turning all in all your favor. And to answer why self-love is important, here's my take. To expect love from others and spread love to others, you must fall in love with yourself. So as someone said, be the change that you want to see in the world. You must start feeling uplifted and lovable in your eyes before you go out and expect the same from others. And not to miss out, once you start doing it, once you start falling in love with yourself, you won't be able to get pampered for the attention and affection of others. You won't feel deprived of love. So all your happiness will be self-fueled rather than fulfilled by someone else. And there are other benefits as well. So once you start uplifting in love with yourself, the insecurity fades away. Procrastination doesn't bind you anymore. You don't bother much about the fear of failure and rejection. You start getting out of that toxic relationship you're being unknowingly surrounded by. Humility and gratitude kicks in your life and you start facing your fear in public. So at the end, I would just like to take this opportunity in sharing a change I had once I started practicing self-love. So behind the voice you're currently listening to lies a highly insecure human. And when I'm saying highly insecure, I totally mean it. So way back at the start of 2021, I created a manifestation board where I gave a pictorial form to my visions and dreams that I dared to dream. And one of them was walking from anywhere it feels like. Probably a cool cafe sitting with the fragrance of coffee in the air and being surrounded by nature. And there goes I sitting amid the chaos of people from various walks of life, busy working on my next project. It sounds cool, right? It really sounds cool, but working from anywhere vibes, and all you need is a laptop, an idea in your mind, a Wi-Fi, and a cafe. The idea sounds cool, but it's far-fetched from real life. So every time, whenever I drove from my home to any such cafe, it takes me the guts to step out of the car, walk into a cafe, order a hot coffee, and work on the next project. And every time I do this, my highly insecure self would say, कि लोग क्या कहेंगे? So whenever I thought of कि लोग क्या कहेंगे or what would people say, I always chant this self-love mantra to help me keep myself inspired and moving. And the mantra says, believe in yourself because I believe in you. Just go out, play hard, and win. So just find yours. So that's what I've got for you in today's episode. If you love it, if you love the content which I just shared, then do me a favor. Take a moment and show some love. Take a screenshot of the episode, post it as a story on Instagram and Facebook, and tag me at MAYANKSEHRA. Also, if you haven't yet done so, then hit that subscribe or follow button to never ever miss an episode the time we upload it. The show is now on YouTube as well, and we are building it slowly and steadily to keep you inspired. Just type Seek Your Purpose on YouTube and follow the show. Now just step out of that comfort zone of yours, break it apart and seek the purpose that you are destined to on this planet, in this universe. And let's create a life that we are extremely proud of creating, living, and thus giving it back to the society in the most generous way. Stay blessed. Cheers.